Bernstein Show. Here's Ed.
Michael Leonetti was a Las Vegan who got convicted, went to prison, and it turns out he was wrongfully convicted. He's come up with a book, Deceit, Corruption Cover-Up by Michael Leonetti. He's my guest today. How are you, Mr. Leonetti? Michael?
Mr. Bernstein, thank you, sir.
Ed or Michael, it's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Now, how did this all happen? How did you end up? I mean, here you are. I mean, I know a little bit about your background. You know, you're a chef, you're an entertainer, you're a newspaper, magazine publisher, and all of a sudden you get arrested one day for what?
There was a young lady that worked for me and her mother, 15-year-old girl. And her mother was a writer for the fashion magazine, and the daughter was a writer for the teenage magazine.
Right.
And we became very friendly, brilliant, two brilliant people, just absolutely brilliant. But the girl was absolutely brilliant, way before her time, knowledge-wise, because at the end, she started to do the payroll, believe it or not.
And this is in Las Vegas.
This is in Las Vegas, right. And the magazine was Las Vegas Image Magazine. This is 1999.
Okay.
That's when we opened up. I went away the year 2000, a year later. So how it started is that they come to my house and they were friendly with everybody. I had dinners once a week. I had 20, 30 people in my house every single Sunday. And my daughter at the time was about 11 years old. And the girl where she went to school at, I don't know if I can mention, if I'm allowed.
Sure.
Her name was Julie Connors at the time.
The school. I mean, they went to
the school. The girl that got...
Las Vegas, school in Las Vegas.
Right. And her name was Julie Connors. And she got herself in trouble. I guess she got pregnant. And this girl, Chelsea, the girl that accused me, gave her money for an abortion. They never paid her back. I had no knowledge of this. I was totally confused. I didn't have no knowledge. So they got in a little argument. So this girl, Connors, wanted to get even with this girl. So she picks up the phone, calls the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and says she's having an affair with the owner of Las Vegas Image Magazine. Naturally, the police came to their house. The family refused to sign it. There's a no prosecution form. Never happened.
And what does that mean, no prosecution?
They refused to prosecute. They said he didn't do it.
The young girl's family.
Right, and her.
And her.
Oh, yeah.
After she complained to the police, she then...
No, this is before. This is when the girl, her girlfriend called the police department and made that statement that I was having an affair with this girl. The police went to her house. Mm-hmm. And when they got done, they said, we're going to sign a no prosecution. We're not prosecuting this man. We don't believe that Mr. Leonetti would do something like this. We don't believe it.
They didn't believe their daughter.
Well, right. The daughter said, did he do? No, he never did. He never touched me. Never did anything like that.
Okay.
In the interim of this situation that happened, now there's some problems that are going on. Well, the police department picks up the phone and calls my background in Havasu. I was the marketing director for the Romana London Bridge at that time. Mm-hmm. And I had an assault charge, no sexual, nothing like that at all.
Right.
It was a misdemeanor. So the guy calls me on the phone and says, we got it from good sources. You're a sex offender. I says, you're making a mistake. I'm not. Well, when we found out, they locked me up. They came down, got me. The next day when I bailed myself out of jail, it was shown I never had to register. It was a misdemeanor.
Right. So, so let me try to simplify it.
Sure.
So really it's hearsay.
Yes.
That the girl who had the abortion, who did not pay back your employee,
right,
had said that your employee had told her, or allegedly had told her, that she was having an affair with you. She went to the police,
right,
and then your employee and her family said, no, that was not true. They signed a non-prosecution agreement, and the police decided, I guess, to go forward with it anyway, based on hearsay of a third party.
Yes. So Michael Root, who's still in business, we file a $250,000 wrongful lawsuit against the police department.
While the case is pending.
Right.
Right? I mean, you file
a
wrongful arrest.
Right. Okay. We're wrongful arrest. We're doing that. A week prior to that, this young lady comes to my house to watch my daughter, who's 11 years old. We come back. When I woke up that morning, my wife said, your daughter needs to tell you something. And when I found out what she said that the girl abused my daughter. She assaulted my 11-year-old daughter. When I heard this, Ed, I said, listen, I had it up to here. I called my brother and said, go get that kid and bring her to my house. She came into my house. And I said, did you do this? And she looked at me with tears in her eyes. I said, look, I got to let you go. You're ripping my family apart. You're causing nothing but grief and aggravation. I tried my best for you, but you got to go. You're firing me, she said. Oh, I said, yes, I am. That day that she walked out of that door, she picked up the phone. Now, all of a sudden, she changed her tune. Perfect for the police department, because that's exactly what they wanted to do, was to bury that $250,000. If I didn't sign that, if we didn't file criminal charges against the police for $250,000, I would have never went. They wouldn't have cared. They didn't have a leg to stand on. But they wanted to squash that, and they did exactly like. Now, Getzman, my attorney, okay, James Getzman, the mother and my ex-father-in-law was involved in getting the Union Plaza, the property, and Getzman, the lawyer, was a resident agent for that, to get $1 million or $1.5 million. That was his end of it.
He represented their corporation.
Exactly. So he represented me in the criminal case, represented my wife in the divorce, okay, and
represented their company.
And represented the girl's mother, also representing the girl's mother. It's a conflict of interest. You're a lawyer. You can't do that. But he did it. 5 years goes by, I go to family court, I get myself in. Judge Gaston, God rest his soul, what a great guy. Naturally, my ex-wife went through everything. I wound up with nothing. I went under Rule 60B, fraud.
Okay, and you're getting, at the time, now you're kind of skipping around, because you still have the criminal thing going, and you have the divorce thing going. So the divorce happened, you were already convicted in the criminal case?
Yeah, right. And I'm fighting to pull my plea, which they were compelled. Now, after 4 years, I have an evidentiary hearing. I leave up north, I come down, I go there, and naturally, Jackie Glass is the judge. She's sitting behind the bench. Okay? There was an intermission or a recess. So my ex-father-in-law, James Getzman, and my ex-wife were outside conspiring to have me murdered in prison. 2 witnesses. Again, the statements are in my book under the penalty of perjury. The people that heard it. Go to the bailiff. Tell the bailiff, hey, we just heard this guy say that. He goes to Jackie Glass, comes back. I didn't know nothing. 2 months goes by, I get a letter in prison from these witnesses. So I filed a criminal charge under the federal charge. Because 18 U.S.C. subsection 4 specifically states anytime a state officer of the court is notified that a crime is being committed, you got to notify the proper authorities. She was compelled under law to bring those people, bring them on the stand. Tell me what you just heard. I'd have won right there. One thing I wanted to do, Ed, was pull the plea, okay, because now I'm walking up. See, now I'm strong. See, they hit me with a baseball bat and they went into my pockets. When I finally shook my head and I came out, and it took me 13 years. I could never the motions were unbelievable. Hundreds and hundreds of motions. Federal court, bank circuit.
And some of them you did yourself.
Yes, I did.
And we'll talk about what happened in prison, because you had a very unusual experience there as well. But I want to finalize, the procedural thing of what happened here. People are going to wonder why you pled guilty.
Right.
Because what happened is you face a judge, and you got up there under oath, and the judge said, how do you plead, Mr. Leonetti, guilty or not guilty? You said guilty, and the judge asked you, what were the facts that you're admitting to? And you admitted to some facts. You said something, or she said, did you in fact sexually assault?
No, it was, I pled to attempted sexual assault.
Attempted. Did you try to sexually assault this person?
He never said that. And I have this transcripts. He said, tell me what happened. I didn't know what to say. Getzman leaned over and said, you had an affair. I had an affair, Your Honor. Okay, we'll accept that. It's in the transcripts.
Okay. And
that's exactly what I said.
Now, people are going to wonder why you did that.
Okay, why would I give that night when that lawyer came into my place after I got sentenced to 20 years, why would I sign divorce papers, giving up everything I owned to my ex-wife, giving custody of my daughter up to my ex-wife? Why would I do that? Because
Well, look, you're going to prison. You don't have a whole lot of choice, right?
I had a choice. I would never give my rights of my daughter up.
Right, but a family court judge anyway would have given her, primary custody.
No, but for me to sign that I'm never allowed to see her again.
Oh, okay. Give up parental rights.
Parental rights.
Oh, you gave up. Okay.
Sure. And Getzman got the pen. Rights. Give me your hand, Ed. He went like this. Come on, Mike. Come on, buddy. Sign right here.
Right.
I just got 20 years for something I didn't do. And this guy, but 5 years goes by, and I win in family court because Gaston said he was not mentally competent what this man was doing.
Right.
You took advantage. It's a 50-50 state. You had no right to do what you did. Guessman, he got 2 years probation over my case.
You complained about him.
Oh, you bet me and 4 other people. He was a ripoff, the guy. I hate this. God rest his soul. I mean, I don't want to speak bad about anybody. But at that time, and you got to remember, you're a lawyer, you know how the game is played. 25 years ago was different. Today, everything's wide open. You see what Donald Trump's doing. They're draining the swamp. I had a restaurant for 7 years. Nobody ever once came in to stop me or sue me for the things that I said because I could prove it. So did I commit that I was guilty? Yeah, I was forced by that lawyer.
You felt pressured to
without a question.
And based upon legal advice, you listened to your lawyer. He coerced you to sign it, to make the statement to the judge. Thereafter, I mean, you're obviously a very tenacious guy.
What do you mean? Tenacious? I thought I'm Italian. Wait a minute. Thank you.
Very.
Well, I'm very compassionate in what I do.
You are very passionate and very animated.
Right.
You seem like the type of guy that's just not going to sit back and
Absolutely.
take something.
No,
right?
I'm the wrong guy.
So you go to prison.
Go to prison.
Now you're faced with, I guess, I'm assuming you had two directions in prison. One direction is, hey, I'm going to be tenacious, continue to be tenacious and get myself out of here by filing all these legal motions and briefs. The other thing is, hey, while I'm here, I'm going to try to make the best of my time here.
No. The direction I took, I was looking for a tree to hang myself. That's the direction I took because I lost everything I had. I woke up in a world that I did not belong in, and I'll be very brief because it's in my book. That's how it starts. I go into a church, and I pray to God to give me the strength to take myself out.
This is in prison?
In prison.
Yeah.
Give me the strength because it takes a pair of cojones to take yourself out.
Did you grow up religious? I assume
I
you're Catholic?
Right,
Yeah.
but let me tell you, picture you coming home, your house burns down, all 6 of your daughters are dead, and you go to prison for it.
Right.
I didn't know what the hell was going on. I'm praying, dear God, give me the strength. I fear a guy touched my shoulder, and I look at him, and he says, you all right? Yeah, I got something in my eyes. I was crying. I was sick and sick to my stomach. I was destroyed. My family was gone. People I loved turned against me. Couldn't believe what happened to me. So he said, are you Mike Leonetti? I go, yeah. He said, Mike, you don't know me. I'm an inmate like you. He says, and
you're up in a major prison.
yeah,
there,
of course.
Right? Yeah.
And let me tell you, and I'll tell you the camera, my paperwork, I said, here's my paperwork, boys. No one ever once put their finger on me. I was no snitch. I didn't do no PC time. I walked the yard because I had God surrounded me with angels. Do you understand? I was surrounded by, they knew that I didn't fit the criteria of what I was accused of. Because when you're in prison for any kind of sexual, let me see, what are you in here for? And so you have to say you're stabbed, raped, killed on the spot.
Right.
I did 13 hard years, different prisons, and walked the yard. So anyway, I get up and I said, look, I got to go. And he says, I wonder if you can help me. I said, help you do what? He says, nobody comes into this church. I said, look, he said, could you do a play? I said, look, I'm not a play person. I'm a Las Vegas entertainer. I walk out. Next day yet, I go back to the church. There's nobody in the church. Mr. Bernstein, I cried like the pain was so difficult for me. God, please don't leave me here for 20 years, I said. I won't be able to do it. Sure enough, that guy comes out again. Are you okay? I said, no, look, I got to go. He said, wait a minute, Mike. He said, I want to give you something. He comes out with a Bible. Hands me the Bible. I said, don't give me that. Don't hand me that. Because I believe that God turned against me in my head. He said, listen, there's a story of Job. I said, Job who? I don't even know the guy. He said, it's a story of Job. Why don't you read it? I said, all right, give me the thing. Let me see what I can do for you. Needless to say, 60 plays later, 17,000 men came to that show, and I worked with 300 of the roughest, toughest guys in the world. Blood, Sereno, Paisa, Border Brothers, A-Dub, Nevada Tres. I had a list like this, and the day I walked out that prison, the warden said, Mike, how the hell did you make these guys listen to you? I went like this. It was God. And the Bible says, what the locusts have taken, I will restore. So everything I lost, the Lord gave me back.
So you're doing biblical shows, basically?
All from the Bible.
Like music shows? Or
no music shows.
No music.
No, all from the Bible.
Just like plays?
Plays.
Reenactments?
Yeah, plays from the Bible. I would write them, and the Mexicans were great because they made all my props. I mean, they did some stuff for me. That was absolutely.
What was your favorite?
Well, the prodigal son was great. The story of Joseph was phenomenal, and you know what I mean. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I did a lot of stuff from the Old Testament because I had to borrow the Jewish stuff. You know, they had all that stuff off. So the guys, they lend me anything that they had to make it look. Yeah. You know, like that. But we had a 7-year run. Never, the warden said, Mike, I'm going to tell you something. One trouble, one drug deal, one homosexual act I can't get anybody doing back here. That's the end of the plays. Never once in 7 years there was a problem. Never once.
Look, you can never doubt a 7-year run, right? It's good, a good thing in Vegas, 7-year
Yeah,
run.
of course.
Okay, you get out.
59. I was 59 years old.
59 years old. I mean, you have a record. Right?
Oh, that was in the 70s.
Before you get out, you filed motions on your own, basically.
Oh, yes.
You know, I mean, you went and learned to research law while in prison, I assume.
I worked at a law library as a clerk.
And you filed a motion. I read your habeas petition to the Nevada Supreme Court, and they agreed with you.
Yes.
They agreed that you were entitled to revoke your guilty plea,
right?
And they remanded it back to court to have it revoked, and then what?
Jackie Glass squashed it. That's the evidentiary hearing.
Yeah, and then they just dismissed the charges at that
No,
point.
no. They everything I filed they denied.
Okay.
So I kept fighting my case for another 12 years, another 8 years. It's just constantly. And then when I got out, I had federal lawyers. Spent a fortune, but I was time barred. Right. See? So I said, what am I going to do? Yeah. What could I do? You know what I mean? So they said, Mike, you need to write a book.
Okay, so now you're out of prison.
Oh, yeah. It's 13 years I'm out.
Right. And where do you go? How do you rebuild your life after that many years in prison?
I don't know what your faith is, Mr. Bernstein. You're from Jewish faith, and you should know God had his hand on my shoulder. He had his hand on my shoulder because I did something I wasn't a playwright. I didn't even know where to start. And the guy said to me, God chose you. You know, there was a real quick story, if I may. I don't know how much time we got left.
How much time do we have left?
10 minutes. Be real quick. The blacks came to me, the Crips. And a guy named Jimmy Allen, he's in my book. This story's in my book. He did 30 years for murder. So I'm in the office and I'm typing. He said, Mike, I need you to do a play for me for the black. I said, you know, Jimmy, I'm doing the biblical play. Come on, Mike, I need your help. So I wound up doing 5 plays. I did Mecca. I did Rosa Parks. You know, I did for Black History Month.
Right.
Well, we're in the gym that day, and it was about 800 guys. Never forget it. And Jimmy Allen was there, and I did the play, and I'm the only white guy in the place, and I'm looking to get out to go back to the cell. And when the play was over, he said, I want everybody's attention. He said, everybody knows this guy. Everybody knows why he's in here. He's a pretty good guy, and everybody needs to say hello to him when you walk on the yard. Because I'm going to tell you, it was the Crips, and they were the ones that were there. You know what I mean? They were there for me. The Mexicans, the Serranos, there for me. Because I started doing the plays in Spanish. I had a list of guys like this begging me to go. We're talking murderers and thieves. And I said, I got a part, you're going to be great. You know what I'm saying to you? So anyway, a couple of weeks goes by, and the cops, everybody hit the ground. There was the blacks, there was the whites that were getting themselves together. And they locked the whole yard down. 2 days later, we get out, and the guy come in, he said, that was over you. Me? What did I do? They said, the white guys wanted to kill you, Mike, for writing those plays for them. And Jimmy Allen, I love this guy. He's in my book. He's doing very, very well. Did 30 years for murder. He went to the white supremacist and says, anybody puts their finger on this guy, then you got to deal with us. It's in the book. So everything I'm telling you, Ed, is in the book.
So that's how you survived there.
Oh,
so
yeah,
now when you get out. Let's talk about you get out because you really had to recreate your life.
Yes.
Right. So, and by the way, I should say you have a background in you play the drums.
Yeah.
You sing.
Yep.
Right. Obviously, you write.
Yeah.
And you cook.
Yes.
And you cook.
Yep.
So, did you try? Was it hard to get a job coming out of prison?
No, I went into back into time sharing. That guy I told you that gave me the pseudo. He offered me $1,000 a week and 2% of the gross, and I worked for 5 years. I never took a day off, and I parlayed my money, bought a couple houses, flipped them. I let my wife and we met, and she said, let's open up a restaurant. I lasted for 7 years. I did $1 million a year at that restaurant, $1 million. I was sold out. You couldn't get in.
This is a restaurant in Las Vegas
called My Mother's House Italian Supper Club. I was the first supper club in Vegas. Okay, and that's how you entertained. I was open 5 days a week, 4 hours a day. You had to have a reservation to get through that door.
Okay, and you also have a TV show that you do.
Michael Leonetti Variety Show. Naturally, I'm on YouTube, and I'm proud to say Bob Kellogg from Kellogg's Cornflakes, my very special friend. He's the guy that made it possible. He said, you can use my name. He bought more books for me than anybody. Because you got to remember something. When you get people like Kellogg's and you get people like Wayne Allen Root and Joe Brown, these were all the people that came on my show. Jim Marsh, they wouldn't have came on my show if I was a shady guy. Trust me when I'm telling you. You're always going to get that one or two people out there that their minds are set. That's why I do these things. And then when my movie comes out, they'll think a little bit different. I want to thank Candy Crusoe for allowing your
Christian
to bring me on your show. And
you're trying to take this book and make it into a movie now.
Well, that's what they want. That's what Candy wants to do, because I got some great stories in it. You know what I mean?
Let's go back a little bit.
Sure.
I mean, you have such a personality.
That's why I got a TV show like you.
Born in South Philly.
Yes.
I'm a Philly guy too.
Is it Pat's or Gino's?
Well, I actually didn't like either.
Oh my God!
I don't like the fake cheese.
Oh, okay.
You know, we used to go to Atlantic City and go to the White House. I don't
Best. How about Josh's Subs?
Yeah, Josh's.
Remember Josh?
Absolutely.
That was terrific.
Yes,
Remember Lou's? They had the best.
Lou's and Ventnor.
Remember Lou's?
Yeah, of course.
Best corned beef sandwiches that you ever take. They had the fat on it. Boy, that was delicious.
Philadelphia has the greatest food if you want to have heart disease. No question about it. And anyway, so I grew up in Philly too. I mean, growing up in South Philly, it's a tough neighborhood.
I came from a rough neighborhood, believe me.
Did it prepare you for what you experienced in prison?
I got to tell you, it was a whole different, I don't care how tough you are, you get 6 guys come in your cell. You can hit one of them, 2 of them, you ain't going to beat 6 guys.
Right.
But the thing is that I was different. I was different than anybody. I said, what's this guy? Who's this guy? What's he in here for? And I got my paperwork. I threw it right out there. Hold the guys. I went right up to the Crips, and then they looked like I was nuts. Most of these guys with them cases, they PC up, protective custody.
Right.
They hide in a cell for the duration of time. I never did that.
Right. Did you play the drums as a kid?
All my life. I was 4 when I started.
So were you in a band or anything growing up?
I had the groups, sure. Did that. When I had the hit record, that's when I came to Vegas. I played every major.
Talk to me about the hit record.
It was called You'll Never Know. You'll never know just how much I love you. It was an old record that my grandfather made me redo, and it became a hit. And some of the guys in Philly stuck me.
Written by somebody else?
Oh, yeah, that's from the 20s.
Okay.
That was.
You released it?
I released it, and it was a local hit, and they stuck me at the Sands, and the rest was history. And I came here and never left.
And one time you met Frank Sinatra at the Sands. What's that story?
You want to hear that story again?
Yeah,
I tell this on stage.
Yeah.
They just stuck me to say, I'm in the dressing room, and there's a little stove. It reminded me of my grandmother. I got so depressed. Them days back in the early 70s, when you made a long distance call, the person on the other end had to answer the phone. And she accepted the charges. In Italian, I was telling her I want to come home. She says, you can't. She says, listen to me. When you're unhappy, what'd they teach you? Eat a dish of macaroni, make you feel better. So I go to the store, there's a place called Skaggs Alpha Beta. Remember Skaggs?
Yeah, of course.
So I get some tomato garlic. In the dressing room, I decided to cook. I just put the macaroni on the table, and I hear a knock on the door. I said, Madonna, who could that possibly be? I get up, I open up the door. It was Sinatra. He said, hey, kid, what are you doing? I said, I'm making a dish of macaroni. You hungry? He said, what'd you say to me? I just put the pasta on the table. Have a dish of macaroni. He said, wait a minute. You're that kid with the hit record. I said, you're right. He had the most piercing blue eyes I've ever seen on a guy. Now, he was in his 50s. You got to remember. I was in my 20s. He said, where's the phone in the corner? He walks over to the phone. He said, this is Mr. Sinatra. Give me Dean Martin's room. He said, Dean, do me a favor. You got to come down here. I want you to meet this kid. He cooks like my mother. The rest was history. And not see through Candy Crusoe. Well, my magazine, I cooked for Robert Goulet, Liberace, Donald O'Connor, Debbie, Jerry Lewis, very good friend, all of them.
Any desire to get back into the restaurant world?
You know, I don't mind doing it. I don't mind running it.
Right.
But I bought myself a job for 7 years. I was there 4 o'clock in the morning, you know what I mean, and walked out 11 o'clock at night. I don't mind doing it, but to run it. But it's got to be done right now. I'm in negotiations with a couple places right now, believe it or not. They want old Las Vegas. But because when I left my restaurant, I accumulated 100,000 names, 100,000 phone numbers. So my television show, I pay for this. I send it out. It costs me 4 cents per name to go out to about 30, 40,000 people a week. Right out the door. And they get a text on my show.
Talk to me about your TV show. What do you do on the show?
It's like you. It's
Well, I do interviews. I don't do entertainment.
Well,
I
it's
do
the same
interviews.
thing. I do interviews also as well. I try to bring people to come in that are positive. I don't like to be negative. I don't really get into the political field, but sometimes I got some people, like Wayne Allen Root that did a great job. The kid came on and did phenomenal for me. The best was like, Jim Marsh. I wanted to bring Jim on because he's 90-something years old,
Yeah.
and he's an icon. And, it's like saying, I wanted him on the show.
Jim is 97 now?
No, 92.
Or 92. Oh.
92. And then Joe Brown, I love Joe, but it was like watching paint dry.
Joe, the attorney?
What? Yeah, Joe, Joe's got the thing. It was tough pulling stuff from him. I said, so you want to be a comic, huh, Joe?
Oh, that Joe Brown. Okay.
That Joe Brown I'm talking about. But like I said, I've been in town 50 years and a very long time. I try to get the right type of people on my show. I don't use profanity. I won't allow that. And I try to do the right thing. Because like I said, listen, what do I got to leave? I got that, and hopefully someday my grandchildren may pull me up and take a look at who their grandfather was.
Right.
Because guys like me and you, we're on third base. We don't have the luxury of time. You understand?
Well, then you better be stealing home.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm 73, you're 70, right?
Yeah, I'm
70, I'll say 70.
75.
75, okay.
Yeah.
We don't got 20 years to play with.
Yeah.
I just am glad that the Lord gave me the strength at my age. I'm on a kayak. I got to live at Desert Shores. I'm on that kayak at 5 in the morning. I do ramming speed.
How does somebody catch your show?
YouTube, Michael Leonetti Variety Show.
So it's Google Michael Leonetti.
Leonetti, and everything will come up. The case, the thing, the motions, everything. I'm an open book. I got nothing to hide.
Well, you certainly have a dynamic personality.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Good luck with all of it, man.
Mr. Bernstein, we got the same barber. We got to stick together, man. Thank you so much.